Some people see the ground coming, some people wait until it hits. Well, there's a train wreck coming.
Rock City Networks and the Australasian World Music Expo coming to you from the Arts Centre here in Melbourne. And joining me, Malcolm Haynes. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm very good today. It's very hot. Loving the weather.
It's very nice and balmy. Now, we're catching up with you a little bit after the Australasian World Music Expo. It happened 2-3 days ago. It was such a busy time that it was very hard to get a hold of some of the more important speakers like yourself.
Well, I was kind of living sort of English time, really. I was, sleeping most of the day and out most of the evening, so that's probably why it's difficult to get hold of me.
Yeah.
Because obviously most of the acts are on at night. That's the time when I wanted. It was the outside more important for me. It was more important to see the acts than perhaps hang around the art centre.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Yeah. Now the talk on international festivals that you were a part of, I guess for everybody it was to get their head around how huge international festivals like Glastonbury and so forth work and operate, and the behind the scenes sort of workings of them. What were the main questions that you were being asked, and sort of where were the directions going as far as sort of just finding out the knowledge and information as to what happens and how those sort of festivals operate?
I think one of the main questions that came out of the forum was what were the challenges for the future in the past, and obviously for the future for festivals. For my part with Glastonbury, I was saying that the challenges that I saw in the past was dealing with a festival that grew more and more each year, and had a lot of people jumping the fence. So the security of the festival was probably one of the main things that was a challenge. And now that we've sorted that out, and that's been sorted out in the last 10 years, the main challenges are now to be more green, really, and to try to have to lessen our carbon footprint, which is definitely happening now. I mean, Michael, the owner of the festival, he's just installed over 100 solar panels at the farm on top of the cow sheds, ironically. Which means that's going to reduce, the amount of of generators that we bring onto site, and also it's going to pump electricity back into the national grid outside of the festival. So it's offsetting the carbon footprint, again. So that's also he's built a couple of reservoirs on the farm as well. So the need to bring in, pump hundreds of gallons of water, thousands of gallons of water in is being reduced as well. So Michael tends to definitely look to make the festival much more green. He's much more sort of conscious of green issues. They have a whole department that is dedicated to green issues and how we can all make it a greener festival. I mean, the recycling alone, you can imagine, is immense, with over 157,000 people. But I mean, there's a lot of money that's poured back into the festival from just what we, in aluminium cans, for instance. That's money that's generated that goes back into the festival. Yeah.
Now it's interesting you say that you're thinking about going more green. We've heard a few rumours here on this side of the world as to Glastonbury not happening in 2012. Now, the funny story that we hear from this side is that there are not enough toilets between you guys and the London Olympics. Is this correct?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think that's probably one of the main reasons. Not just toilets, but showers, crash barriers, security, and personnel. I mean, the festival normally every 5 years will have a year off as a fellow year to make the land come back to its rightful place. And they decided to just carry on for one more year. Instead of having next year off, which is 2011, they go for 2012 to coincide with the Olympics, because there's just not enough infrastructure around to have a festival the size that we've got, and also to have everything for the Olympics. So yeah, it is true that you could say there's not enough toilets.
Yeah. Or toilet paper for that matter.
There's always enough toilet paper, I can assure you.
Oh, that's great. Now, Malcolm, we'd like to get to know a little bit more about you. As I understand it, you programmed the Jazz World Music Stage from 1990 to 1996 at Glastonbury.
Well, a little bit longer than that, to be honest. I mean, from about 1990 up to about 2002, So for about 11 years, there were 1 or 2 year breaks in there, and I started the dance tent in '95. So I did the two simultaneously for a number of years. And then, yeah, a few years back, there were some major personnel changes within the organisation. It was agreed that I would, that we would allow some different people to come in and program the jazz world. And since it's actually changed its name to West Holts, which means it makes it a little bit more accessible to some bands. Some bands weren't really happy about playing on the jazz world stage as such, and vice versa. The stage didn't really fit some of the acts that we wanted to put on. So now it's called the West Holts, and there's a new programmer in place. And I think this year it's going to be his first year to really sort of take it forward. And from what I read between the lines, it's going to be a very exciting lineup. And with the dance tents, I mean, from '95 to 2005, it was just one tent that grew from being a sort of a 2.5 capacity venue, and over the coming years moved right up to 10,000 capacity venue. And then the dance music was went through a little bit of a change, I think, in the UK. And so we suddenly found that we had to reduce the size of the venue over a couple of years. And then it was decided that, well, hey, we need to come at this with a different approach. So we sort of sat down with a few people and we came up with the idea of the Dance Village, which now has about 6 to 7 venues. And ironically, the biggest venue holds about 10,000, and the smallest venue holds about 5. So, and also dance music's taken, it's gone through quite a different transition over the last few years. So, I think dance music's definitely very, very popular, and hence the Dance Village is very popular at Glastonbury.
Yeah. Now, I guess with you've had the anniversary, you've had so much. Especially on this side of the globe, it's become more prevalent. Especially the major music festivals, we see a lot more camping festivals here as well. Do you find that you have a lot more Australians or people from Australasia visiting every year? Is that increasing?
It's difficult actually, because it's difficult to know where people actually come from. I mean, I can only tell you the age range of the audience, and for next year, the festival's sold out already. For next June, but the age ranges between 16 and 24, so that's about the average age. Well, I think perhaps 10 years ago it might have been somewhere in the region of, say, 20 to 30. So it's very much a young festival, and I suppose the fact that it sells out, it does take the pressure off with regards to programming. But I suppose we still have to deliver. We still want people to leave the festival going, oh my God, that was awesome. That was an absolutely amazing, the best festival ever. And I think I can safely say on behalf of everybody that the festival just gets better and better and better each year.
Now, apart from Glastonbury, with all due respect, you work on you work on various projects. You have the Gumball Rally 3000 that you say only happens every few years, but you're also working on Big Chill as well.
Well, the Gumball Rally is, Max gets me in every normally it coincides with the rally launch. If it launches in London, he asks me to come along and do the production for the launch party, or if there's a film premiere, I go and do the production for that. And I've worked with Max Million from Gumball for the last 10 years. The Big Chill, I've only joined the Big Chill last year. Sadly, it got into financial difficulties, and it was bought by Festival Republic, Melvin Ben, and he asked me if I'd come on board and as one of the programmers. So I work quite closely with a guy called John Dunn, who's very experienced in the festival world and as a promoter. So the Big Chill is a new addition to what I do, and it's more of a challenge, I suppose, because the challenge there is that I have to program to sell tickets instead of program to show people what's a good time. So I'm enjoying it. We're 1 year in. I'm already looking at headliners for my area for next year. So I hope to, for me, I feel it's going to take me 3 years before I'm settled and I know the market of the festival, and then I can deliver a fantastic lineup.
Yeah. Is the process between, obviously there's the already sold out and selling tickets side of Glastonbury versus Big Chill, but is the process of selecting those artists different?
Yeah, I think so. There's certainly a difference in the amount of money that the artist gets.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the difference. Maybe the process of knowing what's around is pretty much the same, because and also I try to be quite impartial as well. I'm very conscious that I'm working for two completely different festivals. I'm also very conscious that I do not want to just be repeating stuff from one festival to the other. So I suppose that's even more of a challenge for me. Some acts clearly will play both festivals, but not all acts. So the process, yeah, it's similar, but in fees it's very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now during your time here in Australia, you've been out having a look at a varied range of acts. You've been going to different venues, different clubs, things like that.
Yeah.
Has anything sort of plucked your interest to this point in time?
Loads of things.
Yeah.
Loads of things. To be honest, I have been pleasantly surprised. I suppose I came, not being cynical, but thinking, under the kind of banner of the Australian World Music Expo, I was just going to be looking at lots of world acts. But a lot of the acts that I saw, I wouldn't categorise as a world act. I classify them as a mainstream act that could work anywhere at any festival. So I have been really surprised by just the sheer calibre and musicianship of the acts I've seen.
Yeah. Now, do you guys sort of keep tabs on the major festivals on this side of the globe as to how they're growing and how they're moving and acts they're booking? Do they even mark on your radar at all?
No, I don't actively look out to see what's happening on the Australian market. I mean, I know a few organisations. I mean, there's Good Vibrations, there's the Big Day Out, there's Fuzzy. So, being in the industry, I know about these events, and also I know about these events because I have relationships with agents in the UK who, those very same agents are putting acts into the Australian festivals. So I get to know about things that way. But I think since coming and meeting lots of different people, obviously I'm going to be a lot more interested in what's happening this side of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting to see that. Our growth in festivals over the last 10 years has just been absolutely amazing. It's really opened the market wide for artists to be able to book themselves consistently over a summer period. Do you find that the acts coming from Australia and Asia, do you find the quality getting better? Have they been getting better over the last 10 years?
Well, the only two acts that I know that I've booked, maybe three, Fat Freddy Dropped from New Zealand, and Sneaky Sound System, is it? Are they from Australia or New Zealand?
No, Sydney.
Sydney, okay, there. Well, there's two acts that I have booked and put on at Glastonbury. Midnight Juggernauts, they were kind of on my radar for the last year or so. I'm still considering whether to give them a slot for next year at either Glastonbury or the Big Chill.
Excellent. Now, I guess I'm not sort of soliciting for a word of advice to festival promoters and owners over here, but are there any sort of avenues that the festivals here in Australia and Asia can sort of improve on to sort of bring themselves up to a class close to Glastonbury?
I don't think so. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I haven't been to any festivals over here, so it's difficult to have a critical view of them. I've met a few of the promoters, and they all seem to be really, really sound, very genuine and very passionate people. I mean, this festival. I mean, I would class the AWME as a festival of some sort, maybe an urban festival, and I thought it was great. I've had an absolutely fantastic weekend, seen some amazing acts, and met some really, really, really lovely people.
Excellent. Now, are there any surprises in store for the Glastonbury Festival, or is there anything you can let us in on before next year, before June rolls around?
No, not really. We don't. Do you know what? We just never release our lineup until June the 1st. But I can say that it's my intention to have at least 2, if not 3, of the acts that I've seen over here this weekend play Glastonbury next year.
Well, that's good news. That's the best we can hope for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, well, Malcolm, I won't take up much more of your time because you actually have to go out and watch some more acts this evening before you head off.
Yeah, here we are Tuesday. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday, and my diary's just packed from about 7:30 through till 1 o'clock this evening with about, I don't know, there's just lots of different things I'm seeing. And
Off the top of your head?
Electric Empire, Paris Wells.
Paris Wells.
Paris Wells. There's a DJ that wants me to come and see her. There's Lance from the Bamboos. He's got another project that he plays at the sort of market. There's a night market going on tonight or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting out and it's my last night in Melbourne, so I'm really looking forward to seeing some great stuff for the last night.
Well, you got great music, nice, warm, balmy night, and there's plenty of good people here and places to drink. So I think you're going to enjoy yourself before you leave, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure I will, and I've had a great time here.
Fantastic. Well, I've had a great time chatting to you. Thank you so much for giving me your time in such a busy schedule, and good luck for, well, you don't really need the good luck for Glastonbury, but all the best for next year. And thank you for clearing up that little tidbit of information about as to why 2012 will be a break year for the Glastonbury.
It's a lack of toilets.
That's it, lack of toilets. We're going to Glastonbury 2012, lack of toilets. That's it. Rain, hail or shine, it's going to happen. Malcolm Haynes, thank you very much for joining us here. It's Rock City Networks and the Australasian World Music Expo from the Arts Centre here in Melbourne.
Yeah.